Hey everyone, welcome back. Fresh faced, not a hint of makeup on this visage because I wanted to do a video talking a little bit about YouTube, about my experience, maybe some tips and tricks. I know that I am by no stretch of the imagination a big channel, but I did learn a few things. Of course, we're not a channel focused on that kind of content, so to make it a little bit prettier, a little bit more feminine and fun, we'll do a chatty get ready with me with the theme topic of my YouTube life. So I will just put you guys in and we'll get ready together. Beginning, of course, with my favorite moisturizer of the moment. This is so light and so easy to apply. It's almost like a gel and it's almost over, so I could even put this in an empties video. A lot of you told me that I should bring my skincare down my neck when I did my skincare routine video, and I have been doing it ever since. So if you guys need any reminder, bring your moisturizer, serums, SPF down your neck. Don't forget. So the reason I wanted to do this video is because I have been seeing a lot of new channels out there. In fact, some of you have started YouTube channels, which is a lot of fun. But many of you have also sent me comments and messages saying that you would like to start a channel or have thought about it and never had the courage to do so. Then I'll go in with my Laneige lip mask. I think it is such a great experience. If you have the desire to do it, it's probably because you should be doing it in the first place. However, first thing that I believe you should know before starting a YouTube channel is the fact that it takes a lot of energy. And I don't just mean energy in the sense of time, in the sense of effort, but actual energy in front of the camera. So having a behavior, having an attitude that is at least 10 times more positive and more energetic than in real life. I cannot tell you how many times I have recorded a video thinking that it was super interesting, super fun, just to watch the footage later and be completely bored just by editing it and having to record it again. So maybe when you're recording, you feel like you're being over the top and too out there, but then when you look at the footage, it just feels normal. So I would argue that the camera does not add 10 pounds, but it does take 10 times out of your energy level. So be mindful of that. Try to have an intonation that is a little bit more optimistic. Try to have a laugh, maybe do a few jokes, because I think that not only is it more natural, because in real life that's what we do when we're watching someone's video, we want to feel like we know them in real life, but also to just transmit what you're trying to say in a more relatable way. By the way, I'm using the Exaggerize palette from Charlotte Tilbury. I have been using this palette, oh hello there, to death. It is actually my only Charlotte Tilbury palette and I love it so much because it has this beautiful matte shade, which is kind of a rosy tone, great for an one shadow look. It also has this glittery shade, which I wear a little bit less just because it is more festive, a little bit more for special occasions. And these two are so beautiful. These are kind of pearly, shimmery metallics, but very elegant, not glittery, not chunky. Just gives you that beautiful highlight look. And all of the colors are very complementary between themselves. It's not for like a smoky glam eye look, but just for a pretty girl eye makeup look, I think it is perfection. Then I'm taking the eye tint from Giorgio Armani in shade 11 to serve as the base to the shimmer that I'm going to apply. Let me scoot you in. Oh god. And while staying on the topic of energy and your behavior in front of the camera, I would highly advise you to find a method to your creation of content. I think this is different for everybody, especially depending on the content that you're creating. But I do think that being organized and methodical about how you create content makes it not only easier, but also helps you create more content more frequently. I will just add this beautiful color to the center of my lid. I say that again from experience because I thought that for me, just turning the camera on and babbling on about whatever comes up to my mind, just like I'm doing on this video, would work. And given that English is not my first language, given that I am inexperienced in the whole on-camera content creation process, I spent a lot of time, actually wasted a lot of time creating videos that I just wasn't happy with just because I didn't plan them out. So for a sit-down video like this, maybe it's okay to be a little bit more loose in your structure. Like if you're talking, just chatting, maybe a vlog, of course, you don't want a scripted vlog because the whole point of vlogging is to share real life and real reactions. However, I do feel that for more helpful videos, maybe if you're going to talk about certain subjects, it's important to prepare yourself. I have a few different ways that I do it. I might create a whole script where I insert everything that I want to say, including little commentary and quirky little interjections. And then if during the video something else more interesting comes out, I'll just add that. But at least I have a baseline of content that I know that I can put out and that is not too rambly. Or I'll just try and put out a few bullet points of important points that I want to do. I will try and be very organized in that sense. Probably if you are a little bit more mentally organized than me, or if you have English as a first language and your channel is going to be in English, or you just, are a better communicator, you won't need this kind of trick, but to me it is very important. I'm taking this NYX palette. It's called Perfect Filter, which I really love. To me, it's very similar in family tone to the Charlotte Tilbury. They go really well together, and I really love the shimmers and mattes on this palette. So I'm just going to grab this darker brown to kind of accentuate the outer corners of my eyes, just to give it a little bit more depth and drama without being too much. And something else that I think you have to consider if you are beginning and you are not very fast with recording and with putting out content. I take a while to film, maybe an hour or two for each video, depending on the topic, depending on the subject. You have to have a lot of patience. I have talked about this before. I live in a very noisy building. There's always something going on, people yelling in the courtyard, kids playing soccer, people going up and down stairs, neighbors that love to chat on the phone out the window as if we all should be interested in what they are chatting about. And it all gets picked up by the microphone. At least with me, that's how it works. Right now, I have my windows closed, even though it is about 31 degrees outside and we don't have air conditioning. I have a fan right here, and I just came to accept that I prefer the noise of the fan than random noises of alarms going off and motorcycles testing their engines. But it's a true exercise in patience because there are so many things that you cannot control, and when you're shooting a video, especially if you're not 100% self-confident, anything can kind of get in your head and get in the way of creating it. So it is very much a trial and error. Sometimes you just have to accept the fact that it does not sound good and that you're going to shoot again, and it is what it is. So something that I tried to do in the beginning of the year, I don't know if you guys remember that, I wanted to shoot 2 videos a week, put out 2 videos a week, but it was just impossible for me. Not only because of the noise, but because of the time it takes. I like to edit my videos myself. I don't pay anyone to do that. I know that a lot of YouTubers pay people to edit their videos, but I don't have the budget, so I have to do it myself. And I prefer to just put out 1 interesting video a week than rush 2. And this is something else that I think that you might consider. Instead of going for a lot of quantity, so a high frequency of video publication, try to minimize or at least find a sweet spot of frequency that still manages to keep the quality of your videos. I mean, mathematically, it would make sense. Oh, okay, I have one video a week and I am gaining 10 subscribers per video, so maybe if I do 2 videos a week, I will gain 20. That is not exactly true. That is not how YouTube really works. There are a lot of videos that are way better in explaining this than this one, but YouTube basically works with an algorithm and shows the content to the people that are more likely to click on it. So if you are in a plateau and your content is kind of following the same theme and reaching the same kind of audience, it's unlikely that you will double the amount of impressions and of subscribers just by doubling the amount of content. So I would advise you to just improve your content so that it has a better performance, and that way YouTube will kind of read that data as, oh, okay, your video is a good video, so I'm going to show it to more people. So quality over quantity. I'm going to use this Nabla Cupid Zero. It is a stick, like a little pencil, just to further deepen my lash line, and then we'll curl our lashes. And since we're getting into the technicalities of YouTube a little bit, I think we can talk about monetization. But what I want to touch upon is not getting monetized itself, but how you should just be mentally prepared for that moment. So my case with monetization was very peculiar. I had started my channel and I decided to do a video about the old money aesthetic. Probably many of you have found me through that video because it went, I wouldn't say viral because it's not like millions and millions of views, but it was one of those videos that was an outlier and just performed amazingly well and brought me a lot of people to the channel. So many people were impacted by that video, therefore watched other videos from my channel and ended up subscribing. To get monetized on YouTube, you need to have 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. And I managed to get there I started my channel in March, and I think I got monetized in December. So in less than a year, which is a pretty good KPI, a pretty good performance for a new channel. A lot of channels take a lot of time to get to that point. And I was really happy, really ecstatic. I was like, oh my God, I'll be able to quit my day job. I'll be a YouTuber. I'll get a lot of things for free. And that didn't happen. So when I talk about how to train your mind to when you get monetized, it is very exciting because you finally start making money with YouTube. I don't make a lot of money at all in the platform. It certainly does not pay my bills. It does not even pay for a high-end pair of shoes. So I guess my point is, once you get monetized, especially if it is because of one specific video, calm down. Be proud of yourself because that is an accomplishment and a milestone on the platform, which I think is very valid because many channels take years to get monetized. But don't be discouraged if you don't immediately start having a second income from YouTube, because then the real work starts. I'll be applying my Rare Beauty mascara, and if you get monetized because of a specific video, and in my case it was a video about a trend, so very fleeting, very broad in terms of audience, you have to make a choice. You can either make a bunch of content related to that video, and that will get you to an audience very fast, but it'll also put you in a little box. And once that trend dissipates, once that subject is no longer relevant, you are left with the challenge of repositioning yourself to an audience that maybe is not ideal to what you are trying to portray. Or you can take a second route, which is what I did, and accept it for what it is and move on, creating the content that you really want to create. I'm not saying that that video is not something that I wanted to create, because as I said on it, the old money aesthetic is very in tune with my own aesthetic, which is a more classic, more traditional, feminine, elegant one. So it did marry well, but I would have never, for instance, have done a video about the Y2K aesthetic, because it's just something that I don't like. Probably if I had done one, it would have performed beautifully, and I would have certainly more than 10,000 subscribers right now, but that's not what I wanted. I know what type of content I want to put out there. I know what I like to talk about, and that was not it. So I had to accept the fact that if I wanted to create the content that I wanted to create and have a genuine and actually interested audience that is in tune with the content that I want to put out, I would have to just see a dip, a huge dip in performance. I never had another video like that one. I did do a second old money aesthetic video because I wanted to test it out, which I think is a good strategy, just to keep milking that cow really as much as you can without going overboard. And then I didn't do it anymore. However, I do think that making those videos gave me opened a door for me to reach some of you that are interested in sort of the same aesthetic as I am and the same subjects as I am, and who actually have a very similar mindset as mine, which was a true treasure, and takes me to a point that was one of my concerns, and I think I have talked about this on my Q&A video, which was my fear of getting bullied or of being completely ridiculed on the platform. While I talk about this, I will be applying my Dior Forever Natural Nude Foundation with, oh my god, it's so dirty, my NYX Born to Glow primer. I just schlepped it all over my face. Now I'm going to blend it with the beauty blender. I love mixing these two because you get the coverage from the Dior foundation, which is great, but it looks a little bit more natural for every day with the illuminating primer. As I was saying, I was very positively surprised with the subscribers and with the attitude in the comment section, because you hear all of these horror stories of bullying and doxing and cancel culture and people going after your family because of maybe something you misrepresented or an opinion you shared, or just by being yourself and people not liking it too much. I was very scared of that, because we live in a world where people have a lot of freedom to just say what they think in the meanest way possible and not get any consequences from it. But I was so blessed because, and I guess this is kind of a consequence from the content that I choose to put out, because usually people who are very interested in elegance, which is basically my little niche, they are also interested in being polite, in being lovely, in having manners, in actually being, even if they need to share their opinion, they will do it in a very polite, very lovely and constructive way. Thank you guys for being so nice. But I do think that coming into YouTube, it's important for you to kind of understand that virtual world and the real world are very different things, and that sometimes I don't know who said this, but it was really interesting. Comments on social media, on YouTube, things you say on Twitter, are like those fleeting comments that maybe you would say to a friend in passing, that would not really register, that would not be taken seriously, and maybe in a few weeks you wouldn't even remember that you said it, and you might even change your mind. But when it's in writing, it just seems more official and more true, even though it might not be. So I think it's important to just give it the right weight and not care too much about what other people think. But it is easier said than done. Using the Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. You guys, my makeup is so dirty. Can you please forgive me? I guess I am more afraid to be judged by people that I actually know. Just because we all know the comments of, oh, she's trying to be a little blogger now, or oh, what are you, an influencer? Those will always come around, and I am not going to attest that I am over it, because not even my immediate nuclear family knows that I'm doing this. But it's just something that you have to get over, something that if it's truly something that you want to do, they'll just have to deal with it. And you know what? It's really easy to criticize and to put something down when you're not doing it yourself. And I'm not even going to get into the numbers of what the influencer industry delivers and how much influence it has on the public. So when people try to put it down, I guess it's important to remember that this is a very big, relevant industry that provides a lot of jobs, a lot of sales, a lot of independence to its creators, which is what I love the most about the influencer content creator industry. And I think that is very, very valid and valuable as well. So whenever I'm filming, I try to keep that mindset that this is not a job, but that this is honest, serious work that can be a lot of fun, but that can actually make a difference in my life. And if people have a problem with that, they can send me a check. How about that? Just adding a little bit of luminosity with the Touche Éclat High Cover Concealer from Saint Laurent. And speaking of financial aspects of YouTube, something else that I wish I had done and that I'm trying to do now, just to be a little bit more nimble and to be able to create content without having to worry, especially if you're a fashion channel, style channel, beauty channel, you will spend money. Not only is it important when you're growing to actually invest in your channel, so get yourself a good camera, get yourself some lights, get yourself a microphone maybe. All of that is very important. But if you're talking about product on your channel, you will have to also invest in buying things, products, things to reveal. I like to do hauls from now and then, and it's something that I do try to do on my channel that I think, again, it would be a big change if I just bought a bunch of things all the time and did a bunch of hauls, because those perform really well. But I try not to do so many because, one, I don't have the financial stability to do that, but also because I feel like we're more than just shopping robots, which for a person who loves to shop is a big statement. But I do think, and now we start getting a little philosophical, I do think we have a bit of a problem right now with consuming too much and shopping too much and putting too much value into buying new things. Don't get me wrong, I love shopping. I am an avid consumer. I think that it moves the world, moves economies, creates jobs, creates opportunity, takes a lot of people out of poverty, pushes industries, makes people happy, improves lifestyles, of course. But I do think that we are losing a lot of basic moral values just to buy new things. And I really like my channel to kind of reflect more than just buying, more than just having things. When I see something that is worth sharing, I will share with you, but I like to balance that out with more, not deep videos, because I'm not a deep person at all, but just talk about behavior, talk about tricks of how you can reuse the pieces that you buy. I think we are very tired from the whole influencer scene because, as I said in the past, we can feel like influencers are always pushing a product. That's because of the whole affiliate marketing industry and the fact that those influencers are making a commission out of what they're selling. And I like buying things that influencers that I admire talk about because I want to support them. And mostly influencers that do a good job, they will talk about products that are actually useful and that they like. So again, not dishing on affiliate marketing or on influencers getting money from selling products. I'm just saying that sometimes it can feel like it is a bit much. And I do think that you guys respond really well to when I kind of mix it up a little bit, talk about mindset, talk about maybe hacks, elegance hacks do really well on this channel, which I love. By the way, I am warming up my skin with the e.l.f. putty bronzer. Really love this stuff. It's kind of a creamy texture that looks powdery on the skin and lasts a really long time. And of course, given that we are talking about influencers pushing products, you can find all the products that I'm using on this video linked down below. Then for blush, I'm using the Revolution liquid blush with vitamin E, because now every beauty product has vitamin E, in the color Dolly Rose, which is a really pretty pink. Something else that might happen when you start a YouTube channel and you start getting a little bit of traction and you just manage to get some attention, brands will start contacting you. I have done a few, oh my god, that was too much, wait. I have started doing a few brand partnerships. I have done one with Lily Silk, which was really nice. Vivaya has also sent me some pairs of shoes, which are lovely, and I've talked about them in the past. But once you start getting yourself out there and seeing some results, brands will start contacting you, and it is very tempting to accept any brand deal that comes your way. And I do get the temptation because we want to make it work, we want to make money out of this, we want to make it a viable business. However, I think it's kind of cringy when an influencer talks about a product that, one, they've never actually worn or heard about, and two, that has nothing to do with their brand identity. So for instance, I have been contacted by many jewelry brands that are lovely, but that have nothing to do with my personal style. So it would not make sense for me or for the brand to do a partnership, because you guys would see that it doesn't match in terms of aesthetic, in terms of concept, in terms of looks, and it would just be me kind of lying to you. But yeah, I guess my point is try to resist the urge of just accepting any brand partnership. And I'm not saying you just have to do partnerships with brands that are big and that everybody knows, but it has to at least make sense to you. Just think that if you are a normal, average consumer, if you didn't have a YouTube channel, would you purchase that product? If the answer is no, or I don't know, maybe it's better not to accept that proposal. And I'm saying this out of very little experience because I've only accepted 2, but I am proud of the 2 that I have. I'm going to put on NYX's Dose of Dew highlighter. I don't even know if they still make this anymore, but I just love the glow that it gives. It's subtle, but yet visible, complementary, doesn't make you look like you're sweating, just gives you that beautiful glow. Just going to set things with the HD finishing powder, also by NYX. You guys, I'm not a makeup artist, and I just use products in a sort of intuitive way. So please, beauty gurus in the comment section, don't judge me. For my lips, I'm going to first apply this lip liner from Kiko Milano in color 420. I love this color because it is kind of a brownie nude that is great for adding dimension to your lips without making them look overlined or like a weird color. It's almost like a shade. Just do it on the outer portion just to add some structure, and then I blend it with my fingers. Given that I had the lip mask underneath, it's easier to blend it in. Something that I have been trying to do, given that I am on vacation from work, I have tried to shoot a lot of content just so that I can have some backup video. So why is that important? YouTube, it is sad because the algorithm is a little bit of a mystery. Every tech company has an algorithm that is in many ways confidential. and not made public. I mean, there are some best practices that they advise you to take, but it's not a science. But one of the indicators that YouTube uses to push videos is frequency. So they will kind of see it as a sign of credibility if you're putting out content in a periodical, constant way. I am a little bit suspicious of this rule because there are a lot of channels that post very few and far between videos. My husband follows a channel that posts once a month, and it's a very big channel. However, if you're starting out and you still need to build a base of viewers and you want to, you know, create that connection, I do think that it is important to keep your videos kind of on the same day of the week, the same amount of videos, because people will know when they will be impacted by your videos and they will watch your videos rather than watching something else. And life is kind of unpredictable. So if you're creating content, having a few backup, this is hard, having a few backup videos to fill out certain gaps, maybe if you had an emergency, maybe if you're going on a vacation, maybe you're sick, not feeling like yourself, it helps to have these little backup videos to just fill in the blanks. This is Bobbi Brown's Crushed Lip Color in the shade Angel. Very pretty, kind of salmon-y coral pink. And then I will finish it off with NYX's Butter Gloss, which is a cult classic in tiramisu. Such a classic. For a reason, I love this gloss. It's the type of color that is not too much in your face, but complements a lot of skin tones. Even by itself is a beautiful, beautiful shade. This is it, you guys. Look at me looking all alive and ready to face the day. I think that starting a YouTube channel can seem like a very daunting thing to do. It's a lot of exposure. You're putting yourself out there. Wait, let me... And it just might seem like you don't have the ability or nobody's interested. I guess beginning, you have to put out content that you want to see. Just be true to yourself, because once you start pretending you're someone else and God willing you get some success, you then have to put on a persona and become someone else, and just people will have that expectation of you to just always be someone that you're not, and that can be very hard to maneuver. But anyway, I think it's just a very fun exercise. I really want to see where it leads. I think it's so interesting. Again, to me, my favorite part is to interact with you guys in the comments and to find out that there are like-minded people out there. So right now in the world, it can feel a little bit lonely if you think in a different way, if you have an opinion that is not completely aligned with what you see on the media or what you see in pop culture. If you value different things, it can be just a little bit lonesome and isolating. But when you have a YouTube channel and you talk about things that truly inspire you and touch you, it's so many people that you will eventually find other people that are interested in those things as well and that think the way that you do. So at the end of the day, instead of feeling isolated, you feel heard, you feel like you're part of a very fun group of people, and it's just an amazing experience of sharing and of discovering new things together. So this is it, you guys. This is my finished look. What do you guys think? I feel like I have rambled on for a long time. I don't know how long. I really need to learn how to put the little clock, because I see that influencers sometimes say, oh, this video is already 30 minutes long. And I'm like, how do you know? Someone tell me down in the comments below. If you are a YouTuber, let me know down in the comments a few tips and tricks, growth hacks, maybe things that you have learned in your journey. If you have just started, what are some of your impressions? If you haven't started and you feel like there's something holding you back, write me down and maybe I'll convince you otherwise. We'll see each other next time. Take care and let me know if you start a YouTube channel and I can follow you there. Bye.